why don't you tell us about your home electrification and what you do and where you're at?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Matt. And thanks everybody for listening to me for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to tell you about Duckling, which is the company I'm a co-founder of. We're an early stage software startup, and we're building what we call the operating system for home electrification contractors. We're building this because really the world is electrifying right now. You see it across many different industries, many different sectors. There's a move towards electrification for good reasons. It's hard to decarbonize without replacing mostly fossil fuel combustion with electrical uses at the endpoint. And we also see the electrified versions of devices often outperforming the combustion versions. So take EVs, for example. Obviously, if you're burning gas in an EV, that's going to produce carbon. You can't decarbonize without removing that combustion. But what we also see with EVs is lower operating costs for maintaining that vehicle over its life cycle. And you even see higher performance out of many EVs. And this is repeating across many different industries. The place that we're particularly interested in is how this is impacting the home. So electrification is transforming homes as much as home energy has been transformed since the early rollout of electricity in homes and the Rural Electrification Act and everything that was happening there. We see many of these core systems of the homes being transformed from combusting fossil fuels in-house to using electricity to run them. So things like heating and cooling or water heating or even cooking. But we also see new jobs being added to the house. So energy generation and storage with rooftop solar and a battery, or charging your vehicle rather than going to a gas station to fill it up through EV charging. And then as you make these upgrades, there's ancillary related upgrades that you should make that are happening in the house to make sure the home is prepared. So you have insulation and sealing to make sure a home is heat pump ready. And you have the electrical service needing to be upgraded to support all of these different devices that are being added to the homes. This is a mass change that's going to be happening over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Over the next 30 years, we'll see about an average of $60 billion per year being spent on just the four biggest categories of electrification: home electrification, heat pumps, EV chargers, heat pump water heaters, and rooftop solar. That's not even including the costs that go into electrical upgrades or the costs that go into improving the insulation and sealing in the home. All in all, there's a lot of work to be done. There's about 80 million single family homes in the US. There's 8 to 10 upgrades that I just talked about that could happen. That's up to 640 to 800 million decisions and installations that need to be made over the next 30 years. So yeah, it's hard to reach scale, but there's a good news there is we actually have the workforce out there today that we need to start making these installations. And that's the contractors who are out there. Contractors really are central to whole home electrification. Most home upgrades made today are done through a kitchen table conversation with a contractor, whether it's in duress or in advance. And contractors are highly trusted sources for many homeowners on what to do. What should they do about their heating and cooling? What should they do about their water heating? Do they need an electrical upgrade? What does rooftop solar mean? And so that's where we started our product, is how can we help contractors respond to this trend, to this movement towards whole home electrification. And so we started by talking to contractors. What we've learned, we started out this year with just over 100, surveying just over 100 contractors, interviewing another 35 more. And what we found is that electrification is driving a movement towards a whole home approach by contractors. So contractors were typically kind of siloed within the trade that they knew, but they're increasingly being pushed by homeowner demand and by opportunity to start working with other systems of the home. So if you used to do HVAC and you need to install a heat pump, you need to start being concerned with the electrical system of their home. And once you start working within the electrical system of their home, there's new opportunities like EV chargers or even rooftop solar to expand your business. And so this is what we were hearing from contractors, that this is what's happening. So 86% that we surveyed were actively installing heat pumps. already. So they're already doing at least some electrification products of heating and cooling. But what was really interesting is 73% of them are already being asked about other electrification upgrades by homeowners. So homeowners know about electrification and they are asking contractors, even if it's outside of their trade, about advice or how do they get upgrades in the other parts of their home. So here we were heat pump water heaters were the most popular, but also rooftop solar and batteries and EV chargers. Homeowners were asking their HVAC contractor or home performance contractor what it takes to get that done. 66% of contractors that we surveyed, they were actually already installing at least one other electrification product. Some were rooftop solar or battery, but most common was installing a heat pump water heater on top of heat pumps. And finally, 63% we're already planning on installing at least one other electrification product beyond what they install today. So most common there being rooftop solar or EV chargers being what they want to add to their business to better serve their customer. So all in all here, what contractors are seeing is both a push by homeowners and also incentives and rule and some regulations towards a whole home approach, but also an opportunity to grow their business because of what electrification offers. But in our interviews, what we were hearing from contractors is that actually planning and selling these whole home projects is still difficult today. It's outside of the traditional sales process that they were used to. It moves from replacing one device, just that quoting on that one device, to looking across a home and building a plan with a homeowner that can take 1, 3, 5, even 10 years to make all of the upgrade opportunities that are in the home. It also involves more rebates or different financing opportunities than are typically used today in just a typical HVAC upgrade or change out from natural gas to a better natural gas system. And it takes a little bit more education of the homeowner. Projects that are electrifying they're probably, at least without the rebates and financing, going to be a little bit more expensive or a little bit more involved than simply replacing with a fossil fuel device that they have today. And so contractors need to be able to educate homeowners on why this is a better opportunity. In many cases, actually lowering utility bills, but also improving the performance of their home, so making their home more comfortable and improving the health and safety. And contractors need a little bit of education of themselves. It's hard to keep up with all of these different upgrades and all of these changes to technology that are happening. And so being able to understand what the opportunities are when they're trying to best help their customers and serve what their customers want is important. And so these are the problems that we are solving with our first product. Overall, the way that we think about our product is we want to put contractors at the center of the electrification movement and the home electrification movement that's happening today. And we'll do that in 2 ways. First, we're going to make it easier for contractors to sell these whole home projects so that they can stand out amongst their peers. And then second, in the longer term, we're going to make it easier to do this work by managing these relationships, by managing the individual projects, and by being able to add new trades to their business. But like I mentioned, we're starting in the sales portion at first. That's what we're building today. So here we're building software to help contractors create whole home electrification proposals, including the ever-changing incentive, rebate, tax credit, and financing environment. And then we are, once they build that proposal, we're giving them software, very user-friendly software to educate their customers about these opportunities. So what you see here on the right, it's a very early screenshot. We've actually kind of iterated a little bit from here, but it's our first designs of the customer portals that we're building, the customer portal we're building on behalf of our customers, where they would be able to show homeowners all of the opportunities to upgrade within their home, the impacts. We do energy modeling of the impacts of those upgrades, and then be able to provide educational resources about each project and each opportunity, so that the homeowners are getting all of their questions answered and getting them answered in a uniform manner from these contractors. The way that we're building, we're early stage. We still don't have our first product launch. We're targeting a launch in the fall of this year for our first implementations. And so to make sure that we're building a product that contractors want, we've actually started signing our first customers already. So we have 5 contractors here in the US that we're working with to build the first version of this planning and sales software that I just showed you. This program will take place over 6 months. Spend the first few months, a couple months focused on our design, the summer focused on building and testing this product before we implement in the fall. So we're really excited. We got actually our fifth, where our target was 5. We had our 5th signed up on Monday of this week. So our cohort of design partners is full that we're going to be building with. So very excited to share that. And yeah, building towards implementations in the fall. Here's our team today. There's 4 of us working on it. Myself, my co-founder Sudeep, he's the engineer. I'm more business and operations, working at tech companies. We also have 2 advisors, Elliot Trice, who we met at the On Deck Climate Tech Fellowship, who advises us on product management and design. And then Bill Spohn, who's our strategic advisor in the building performance industry. He's been involved in the industry for 20, 30 years. He knows just about everyone in the industry, has been able to introduce us to some key players. He's also treasurer of the Building Performance Association, and he's on the board of directors at the Green Home Institute. And so we're going to be also hiring soon, where we're going to be starting our first round of pre-seed fundraising in the next month, and we'll use that money to hire some more engineers to our team to build this first product. But yeah, if you want to learn any more, you have any questions, you can catch me at john@getduckling.com, john@getduckling.com, or you can visit our website, getduckling.com. So yeah, that's us. That's what we're building. Happy to answer any other questions, whether now or if you send me an email.
Sure. And I forget, John, if we talked about this or not. Are you familiar with FrogEX? FrogEX. Did I tell you about that?
You had mentioned it when we talked last week. I was at a conference all week this week, so I didn't get a chance to dig into them yet.
Yeah, so Jana presented earlier. She's European based, and they actually had a couple panelists on that. They have they're sort of trying to be like the Amazon, she said, for home, sustainable living and home improvement. Sustainable home improvement, green building. So I don't know if they're more of a competitor of yours or potential collaboration. She has about 180 or more people on the platform of her so far. And yeah, so I guess you didn't have a chance to look at that. So maybe we'll just leave that there, because I'm not sure definitively where she falls in. But everyone, who's participated has been very collaborative and sort of welcoming. So, I'd check her out and see if you think there's anything there. And I also forget, are you guys doing a raise currently, or where are you at as far as that goes?
Yeah, we're going to open up our first round of fundraising in May.
Okay. All right, cool. So anyone interested, needs to keep an eye on John. And if there's no other questions, I think, let me take a quick peek here, because I think we were supposed to have a nonprofit, the Climate Toolkit, Andrew Lample. Andrew, are you here or are you not here? I don't think Andrew is here. I haven't seen him. But and I know I'm going to mispronounce this name. Leave It in the Ground Initiative. I can get that one pretty well. And Kel, I think you're here, right? Kel Kuhn is
Matt, I have a quick question for John, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really planning software is the heart of it. Is that the bottom line?
Yeah, planning and sales software for contractors, and that will extend into like CRM and project management. But yes, it's starting with the planning and sales for contractors.
Right.
Yeah, I actually think you should talk to Jana, because there might be some synergies there. I don't think it's as much a competition, but I could be wrong. But check FrogEX out.
But yeah, based on what you said, it sounds like a collab, definitely like a partnership, or complements to each other.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you should check that one out. And that's a good clarifying question. That was David, I believe. And got me dialed in. I'm sort of on fumes right now, but at the end of this event. But anyways,
I just wanted to add for John, We actually are not that far away. You know, we're a year or two away from actually having product. And it's a little early, but you should put us on the longer term plan because the minute